Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for August 1. RA or PA, infiltrating life on campus housing. Camera on Campus reported on their Facebook page on July 24th that a Stanford University student, Hamza Dowd, is set to be a resident assistant in the fall. And he posted on his Facebook saying that he will, quote, physically fight Zionists on campus next year. An RA, or resident assistant, is an employee of the college who is often paid with comped housing and some other form of stipends. This person is in charge of other students who reside in the campus housing, being their first resource to go to for both assistance as well as with disciplinary issues. Students have trouble with roommates, transitioning from home life to school life, social or emotional needs, and the RA is the go-to person as their first resource to find services or get help or advice living in a student housing situation. For this reason, this person, the RA, must be impartial, open-minded, fair-minded, and objective. While certainly any RA can hold his or her own political views and ideas and opinions, they certainly must not be militant ideas that would lead to openly threatening people on social media. These views must be mitigated by a professionalism and an ability to discourse with other students on campus. Now, Dowd actually edited his original post from physically fighting Zionists to intellectually fighting Zionists. But he has already demonstrated his hatred for Zionist students, thus making him unfit for the position of RA, which does indeed require daily contact with a diverse group of students. Dowd ended up writing a letter to the campus paper saying that he does not believe he should lose his position as RA or be punished for his comments. He requested that people note the second part, which is the intellectual fight, as his stance. But even that puts him in an adversarial position against students that will live under his authority who may disagree with him. We will call on the administration of Stanford to remove Dowd from this position of RA. According to other Stanford undergraduates, Dowd is an active member of the Students for Justice in Palestine group. One student told the reporter for Camera on Campus that Dowd has been one of the, quote, most aggressive and prolific anti-Israel figures at Stanford, and now he's calling for violence against pro-Israel students. He will be an RA in a dormitory next year, and this is unacceptable as he could quite literally threaten the safety of the students in the dormitory, unquote. The national arm of the Students for Justice of Palestine, the group that Dowd's affiliated with, has been noted in congressional testimony as being directly linked to unsavory groups both at home and abroad, some of those with terrorist ties. Within a few hours of Dowd's original posting saying that he will physically fight Zionists on campus and then changing it to intellectually, this did not reverse the revelation made to those in the community. It's a very disturbing situation, and I cannot believe it's being tolerated by human rights watchdogs groups and other progressives who hoot and howl over every perceived snub, including bakers refusing to bake cakes or non-paying customers in coffee shops being told they can't use an area as a workspace or use the restroom. What is a Jewish parent supposed to think when they leave their young adult at a Stanford dormitory with an authority figure who has already posted an adversarial position of hate against that student? What about the pro-Israel family or the Christian student who's actively outspoken on Zionist issues? That person is also already hated by their RA, their go-to person who is their authority figure. This puts these types of students into a lion's den similar to what Daniel had to face. If an RA openly challenged any organization or any kind of group of students, whether it's something that they think, like a political, religious, or a philosophical stance that students might believe or take, or whether it's an identity that they may have, if a RA posted some sort of vitriol of hate against that group, it would not be tolerated for a moment. That kind of person should be banned from any position of authority, let alone a paid position at the university. We cannot have our students who are Jewish, Israeli, or support them being thrown into these kinds of lion's dens just because the lion is coated and covered with a blanket of political correctness. This lion is given permission to go after certain people. The same people that Haman and Xerxes went after. The same people Nebuchadnezzar went after. The same people Hitler went after. Let us all be Esthers. That is, let us be people of God and be used by God in His needs at the time and place and circumstances we are in right now. Just like Esther, she was in a time, a place, and a circumstance that was simply where she was, and she was used by God in her own field of influence to make a difference. And we can do that. We can do that by spreading information about these types of incidents at Stanford. If the mainstream media will not post it on their news sites, we can repost these things found by investigative reporters at organizations such as Camera on Campus or Barry Shaw's site or other sites that reveal what's going on at the ground level at our universities. As we've been fighting BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction movements for the last several years, keep these Israeli students, these Jewish students, and the non-Jewish students who support them in your prayers, and do not let these activities that seek to suppress them or hurt them go unchecked. Shavua Tov. Have a great week.